Everyone, this is your subject physical education for class 11. So we will be continuing with the chapter 2, which is Olympics value education, and today we are going to start with the lecture number 3, and we are also going to discuss the answers of questions from lecture number 2. So today we are going to start with the new subtopic, which is Olympic symbol, ideals, objectives and values of Olympism. So in this whole topic, we are going to discuss about the symbol, what does it mean, the ideals, the objectives of Olympics, and what all values one develop through Olympic movement. So we are going to start with the first topic, which is Olympic symbol or emblem. So this is the photo which you can see in your screen, and there are 5 rings: blue, yellow, black, green and red. So we are going to talk about them now. So it comprises of 5 rings or circles to represent the sporting friendship of all people. So they are interlinked. Why? Just to show that the interlinked means that there is this friendship among all the people of the world. The rings also symbolizes the 5 continents, that is Africa, America, Asia, Australia, Europe. So these 5 rings symbolizes the 5 different continents which are listed here. Each ring is of different color, that is blue, yellow, black, green and red. So as you can see from the picture also, that all the rings which are shown here are different from each other, and all of them are there which symbolizes the continents of the world. The color of each ring was proposed by de Coubertin himself. So de Coubertin himself proposed the colors of the rings. However, it is important to emphasize that he never said that the colors of the rings were linked with different continents. So these colors does not symbolizes or does not have any relation with any of the continent. Like you just can't say that blue is for Asia or yellow is for Africa, black is for America. So it's nothing like that. These are different colors with different continents. No color or no continent have any kind of relationship in between. It is merely a misconception to say that each of the color relates to certain continent. So it's just a misconception. It was never said by de Coubertin that any of the continent is related to any of that color which is in the rings or of the rings. Now the Olympic motto, though we have already discussed Olympic motto in earlier lectures also, but we are going to do it again. So the Olympic motto is inscribed under the emblem, which consists of 3 Latin words. So this Olympic motto is inscribed under the emblem. So under the emblem it is written there, inscribed there. The 3 Latin words are Citius, Altius and Fortius, and the meanings are respectively: Citius means faster, Altius means higher and Fortius means stronger. So when you learn the Latin words, please do learn the English meanings also, specifically individually as well, because in exams question might come like, what do you mean by Citius, or what is the meaning of Fortius? So you must know the meanings as well. The literal meaning of these words represent the athletic goals, that is running faster, jumping higher and throwing farther. That means that these are the athletic goals, that if you want to win or if you want to achieve something, you need to be perfect, you need to be good. So they represent the whole game in sports, the whole tournament, that if you are running, if you are doing some race, then you have to run faster. If you are jumping, you are doing long jump, high jump, then you have to be higher. If you are throwing something, might be a shot put, discus, javelin, whatever throwing event it is, so you have to be stronger enough that you can throw that particular object to the maximum distance. So this is the whole meaning of your Olympic motto. Now the next topic is Olympic ideals. Olympic Games are remembered for the Bishop's Pennsylvania's famous sermon, and the sermon is, the important thing in Olympics is not to win but to take part. So it is said that it is very important that you are at least taking part in something. It's not just about winning. Obviously, if there are 8 contenders, or if there are 10 contenders, or if you have 20 competitors against you, then in the whole that game there will be one person who is winning the match, but the other 20 or other 19 other 8 people will actually learn something from this whole competition. So it is very important to take part, to participate. Just not important that you always win. The important thing in life is not the triumph but struggle. So it is not that important that you want something, but yes, to you actually struggled for something, that is important. If you take a very small example, like if I want to play at school level only, not, I'm not talking about national level, I'm not talking about international level, but if I want to participate, then it is not important that the day I participated I should win. But yes, if the whole year I've struggled for it, and if I've put my whole efforts into it, that is more important. In that whole journey of struggling, in that whole journey of working out, of that hard work, you will learn a lot of things. Those things will make you a better person. That is why it is important. Next, the essential thing is not to have conquered, but to have fought well. So it is not important that you win over something, but it is important that you fought for it in a very well manner. That you actually tried to win something, though you might have lost, but you actually tried it. And trying is the best thing, that you have to keep on trying, whether you get success, whether you get some failure, but it is important to participate, to keep on trying, be motivated and confident in what you do. So this is your Olympic ideal, that participate and keep on participating, take part and be motivated. The next topic is the objective of Olympics. So according to Coubertin, following objectives can be achieved through Olympic Games. 1. To pay attention towards physical education and sports competitions in all the countries in the world. So because of Olympics, or because of international games and sports, we can actually, or the government or people will put attention towards physical education and sports, and they will try to improve their sporting level, and it can actually happen in all the countries in the world. Second is to develop personality, character, citizenship qualities and health among the citizens. So it is through Olympic Games motto, or through Olympic Games, we can actually develop the personality, because we are not only enhancing that single game or sport, but yes, we want to enhance, we want to bring a good development and growth in the whole society, and every nation is going to do that. So through these physical activities, through participating in games and sports, one can develop his or her personality, and it can be your social personality, your emotional status, your mental ability, everything, the character, the citizenship qualities, being social, being good, being cooperative, and health, obviously, because you on a daily basis, if you keep on doing physical activities, there will be enhancement in your whole body, your systems of your body, your organs will work more efficiently. So yes, there will be a wholesome development. Third is formation of good habits among sports person, that so that they could lead a healthy and prosperous life. When an individual starts participating in games and sports, there is a lot of formation of good habits, being punctual, being on time, having good habit of eating, good diets, a very good habit of waking up early in the morning because you have to practice, sleeping on time, and then because you are a good sports person, You keep on scheduling things and you follow that timetable. So whole of your life, the system of your life becomes very good, becomes very reliable and positive. To develop patriotism and fraternity among sports person. So through Olympic Games, we can develop the feeling of love, affection towards the country, towards others' country, their cultures and religions. We will also be able to develop fraternity, brotherhood, love, affection, cooperation between sports persons, those who come together and compete at a national or international level. So through these games and sports, through Olympic Games, we can actually develop the feeling of brotherhood, the feeling of respecting nations, the feeling of respecting people around them. It can be very easy. Fifth point, to develop international fraternity and peace. Because nowadays, or it is in a continuing sense, that when we talk about Olympic Games, there are thousands and thousands of players from different countries who come together at one place and compete. Though from our eyes, we just see them competing, but it's just not the same thing. All the competitors do talk to each other, they meet different people, they learn different cultures, they talk about different religions, they talk about each other, they talk about each other's lifestyle, they learn different techniques, different rules while talking to each other, they learn different tactics and skills, techniques from each other. So it, through Olympic Games, we can also develop this international brotherhood, international friendship among different countries, and peace also. If we can show them this, yes, we are people like this, and obviously each and every individual is kind of same, we are no different from different nations. So we can, through this games and sports, we can develop these qualities also. Not to have any discrimination on the basis of caste, race or religion. So when we talk about Olympic Games, there is no discrimination of caste, race, or religion. Person of any religion, of any caste, of any race can participate in games and sports in these Olympic Games. Development of values through Olympic. If we glanced at the various objectives of modern Olympics Games formulated by Coubertin, we immediately come to know that Coubertin wanted to develop these values through Olympism, so he put his strenuous efforts to start Olympic Games. So when we were discussing about objectives, you might have come to this thing that we were talking about free discrimination from discrimination, or fair play, or brotherhood, or friendship. So all these objectives make you relate it that these kind of values were the values which actually Coubertin wanted to enhance, to develop among nations, among people of different nations. That is why he actually started, or he wanted to have Olympic Games to be held, and he put all his efforts to do that. In fact, the following values can be developed through Olympism. The first is friendship. The Olympism provides many opportunities to develop friendship not only among the participants but among the nations. Also, when Olympic Games are held, the participants get close to one another, they become friends. So, the first value is friendship, and through Olympism or Olympic movement, we can actually provide opportunity to different people so that they can have this good relationship of friendship with people. It's not just between the participants of different countries, but it is a friendship between different nations. Because in Olympic Games, people come from, or participants or the players come from different nations and compete together. They sit together, they talk, they come close to each other, they have a good relationship of friendship, and they kind of become friends. the nations that have tensed relationship also or problems among each other, between each other, they also come closer through Olympic Games. Here in the book, they give the example of China. So actually what happened in this ping pong diplomacy was that in 1970-71, so there was this table tennis competition, international table tennis competition, and at that particular point of time there was this Cold War thing which was going between China and USA. So some of the players from America went to participate for the very first time in China, these games, participating in these games. So after that, ping pong is another name for table tennis. So after that thing, actually China started participating in Olympic Games, and that was the very first time after 22 years that any of the American player who went to China to participate in any of the game. So through Olympic Games, we can actually develop, or we can provide opportunities to develop friendship. Solidarity. The Olympiasium also provides ample opportunities to enhance solidarity. It gives a feeling of brotherhood and unity among various nations. It creates cohesion among the participants as nations. So, through Olympiasium, we actually provide it by the opportunity of brotherhood. That when different nations meet, without different nations meet, they can have this feeling of brotherhood, they can have a feeling of unity, that yes, all of us are same, all of us is all together, and there is this unity. We are not different from one nation to another, we are not different, we are all same, and we should have this unity among each other, we should stand for each other. So this kind of feeling can be enhanced through Olympic Games. Fair play. Up to some extent, it can be said that Olympic Games enhance the chances of fair play. Fair play is based on justice. So, fair play means when you play with all loyalty, when you respect all the rules and regulation, you follow them properly. That is fair play. That justice is done. If you are wrong, that means you are wrong. You just don't fight if you are wrong. You understand the reality, you understand the judgment, and then you work over it. There should be justice for each player as well as the team. There should be not any favor or inclination towards a team. So it is very important to have justice for each and every player, every team. It should not happen that, for example, if we are conducting some game, then our team should win, even if it is not winning, or we should not favor anyone, we should not have any kind of inclination towards any team or player. Each and everything should be done in a very proper, while following all the rules and regulations. So rules and regulation must be applied fairly to each team, it should be on each team. I'll give you one example. It actually happens that when teams play and the umpire or the referee or the judges which who are there, if they have this favor for someone, if they are from the same country or same nation, same state, whatever it is, then it might happen that sometimes people do uh, give favor on the team or the player which they like. So it should not be there, and all the rules and regulations should be followed. But in fact, there is a big gap between words and the actions of the officials. Nowadays, every team wants to win by hook or by crook. So they do whatever it takes because there is a lot of competition. They don't take these games in a friendly way. There are many teams, many nations who just want to play it because they want to win, all the games, all the sport which are organized. And same way, there are few officials also who just don't follow all the rules and regulations. They favor different teams and players. The slogans like "stay out of sports" or "stay out of courts" and "live by code or get out" have become useless as these are not followed in practice. So stay out of for sports or stay out of courts means that if you're into sports, then you don't have to lie, you don't have to do something wrong, you have to be clean, you have to be real, you have to be truthful. Or live by code or get out, that means what all are the codes are given, the rules and regulations are there, so live by that, follow it. Otherwise, if you are not doing it, then you can leave. So all these kind of slogans are of no use anymore, because they are just not followed in many of the games and sports. Therefore, it can be said that Olympic games in these respect is not as successful as it should have been. Free from discrimination. In the last objective of modern Olympic Games, it is said that there will be no discrimination on the basis of caste, race, and religion. So, as we already read or discussed about it, that these games are free from discrimination of any kind, even if it's religion, even if it's race or the caste of different people, community, anything, there will be no discrimination. So Olympiasium lays down in a stress on this aspect. That is why, up to some extent, Olympic Games are free from discrimination. At such an event, there is no meaning of caste, race, religion, or community. So, at this level of event, or at this particular level of sporting event, there is no meaning, there is no importance of these kind of discriminations. Why? Because these games were made so that each and every individual can take this as opportunity to participate and show his or her talent, and it is for everyone in the planet. Every human being is allowed to participate. So there is no meaning, there is no sense of discrimination here. And here I have shown you the picture of Jesse Owens. He was a black American who got 4 medals in Olympic Games. And when he came back from participating in Olympic Games, all the people from America came up to congratulate him, motivated him, and they actually, there was this whole parade on his honor in America. And see, you can see from the picture that there is no discrimination between people. The people, there is no discrimination of anything there. They're all happy, they're all congratulating him. So this is because Olympic Games. The exceptions are always there, though there are exceptions everywhere. It happened in during 1972 Munich Olympic Games, when 11 players of Israel were murdered ruthlessly. So this happened in 1972 Munich Olympic Games, where these people were killed. And at that time, there were several people who were like protesting against Olympic Games. And when these people were caught somewhere, so some people with guns went there and they actually just killed each and every player from this team. Racial differences was seen in 1936 Berlin. So here in the last slide, as I was talking about Jesse Owens, the same thing happened to him also. During the competition, because he was black, Hitler at that point of time was meeting each and every winner of different events, but he didn't even thought of meeting Jesse Owens. Even after he won 4 gold medals, every time he refused to meet him. But as you can see that later on, when he went back to his own country, to America, then people cheered for him and congratulated him. But yes, all these kind of discrimination you might also come across when we talk about Olympic Games. About the values such as friendship, solidarity, fair play, and free from discrimination, it can be said that Olympic Games play a significant role in the development of these values. But there is also a negative aspect of Olympic Games which is also rampant. It seems that the dreams of Coubertin are not going to be fulfilled. Countries have their own interest. Some of the countries take part in Olympic Games just to prove that they are on the top and far better than other countries. So there are several countries who still just participate just to show people or to show other countries that they are the best and they are at the top at each and everything. But yes, through some movements we can also see that all these values are developed through Olympic Games. The values suffered a setback when some countries of world boycotted 1980 Moscow Olympics and 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. Perhaps Baron de Coubertin never imagined such shocking events, but it does not mean that Olympics has failed in developing the above mentioned values. We must have a positive attitude towards Olympism. Nation must lay stress on the objectives of modern Olympic Games so that these values can be developed through Olympism. So there are some of the setbacks in this whole process of Olympic movement, but still there are several other options or several opportunities or movements which we actually see which actually develop these values, and all the nations, all the countries should put much more stress on the objectives of modern uh, Olympic Games so that these values can be developed easily. Now the homework for this lecture. Question number 1. What is the motto of Olympic Games? Question number 2. Write any 3 objectives of Olympics. Question number 3. Discuss the development of friendship and solidarity through Olympics. I'm going to discuss the answers of questions from lecture 2. Question number 1 was, what is the Paralympic motto? Spirit in motion is the Paralympic motto. It was started in 2004 Athens Paralympics. Question number 2 was, explain the categories of disability in Paralympics. Answer. The International Paralympic Committee has published 10 disability categories including physical, visual and intellectual impairment. At least one of these disabilities can participate in the Paralympic game, though not every sport can allow for every disability category. Question number 3 was, what is the symbol of Special Olympics? Answer. Symbol of Special Olympic is happiness and joy to the children of the world. The logo of the symbol of growth, confidence and joy among children and adults with disabilities who are learning coordination, mastering skills, participating in competitions and preparing themselves for richer and more productive lives. Question number 4 was, discuss about Special Olympics. Answer. Special Olympics was started by Eunice Kennedy Shriver, who was a sister of John F. Kennedy, the former president of USA. In fact, she believed that with equal opportunities and experiences as anyone else, people with special needs could compete for more than ever thought possible. She was convinced that children with intellectual disability could be exceptional athletes or sportspersons and that through sports can realize their potential for growth and development. The first Special Olympics were held in July 1968 in Chicago. Thank you everyone. This is the end of your lecture.